Right, so this is the morning after the 2017 S concert, and it happened at the Accra Sports Stadium. It was an amazing show. Late. A lot of amazing performances. So we saw Captain Planet mountain stage to do his hit with Joby Girl and it there. Also talking about S Concert 2017, we had other interesting highlights.
I'm gonna pray that I go higher, higher, higher. As I go to the top, higher, higher, higher. I'm gonna pray that I go higher, higher, higher. 1, 2, 3. Wonders and mercies.
Shatta Wale.
Shatta Wale.
A lot of the fans, die-hard fans, wanted to go and then have some moments with him. So a fan got on stage. The security guys came in to pull him off stage. He actually slapped the security guy, and that was one of the shocking moments.
If I perform, make nobody jump come the stage. I don't make anybody do it. You understand? But we just enjoy it. I know I enjoy it. You know I enjoy it.
Well, interesting happenings there. Meanwhile, Samini has urged event organizers to stick to timing and not take parties for granted, lamenting why he walked out of the S concert venue. Samini, who feels disrespected, explained organizers kept him backstage for 4 hours whilst others had a field day on the stage.
Yes, people. I don't normally do Instagram videos. I don't normally complain like this, but guess what? This is getting out of hand, and I'm sorry to the fans who came out to the stadium to see me, but I'm not doing the show, and I left the stadium. So yeah, big up everybody that came out to support. Big up all Ghanaians that came out to have fun, but we have to stick to timing. We have to make sure event organizers communicate right with the artists. You don't keep me backstage for almost 4 hours and have me wait for people to take turns on stage while I still sit backstage without knowing what to do. So basically, my call time was 1:30 and I stayed backstage till 4 o'clock and I had to leave.
Radio News 360, and as I told you before, this is a surprise interview. I'm going to speak to Francis Doku. He is the General Manager, MG Digital, under the MG Group. But I'm not going to speak to him as a General Manager. I'm going to speak to him as an entertainment critic. Francis, good to see you.
Thank you very much.
Right, as if the controversy in the entertainment industry, would it ever end, Francis?
Thank you. No, I don't think it will. I think we've seen this rivalry, especially between Shatta Wale and Samini and some other musicians for a while now. I mean, if you recall, some 2-3 years ago, about 3 years ago, at the S concert at the Accra Stadium, similar thing happened after everything. I mean, about Shatta's fans, Samini's fans, and that led into a long controversy.
But this is fresh. What do you think about this?
Well, I mean, this is fresh also. So I mean, talking on the basis that this should have been anticipated by the organizers, so that adequate measures will be put in place to forestall some of these things. You know, for example, and as Samini said, you have a contract with an artist to perform for a certain time and to perform certain number of songs. I think that organizers need to make sure that they insist on that happening. Because if we don't, then you inconvenience one artist against the other, and all that. Some of these things will happen.
So let's look at this particular stage. The problem of the other artists that Shatta Wale hijacked the show. How would that affect show organizing in Ghana, entertainment?
I don't think on that basis the artist should be the one to be blamed. Because he was performing on somebody's platform. It wasn't his own show that he organized that he would hijack it. It was somebody's show that he invited all of them to perform. So the person who's organizing the show should know what limits to put in place.
So you're not blaming Shatta?
No, I am not blaming him, because it is somebody's show, and the person should know that Shatta shouldn't perform beyond a certain number of songs or beyond a certain hour. We make sure that if it's an hour, he performs an hour. If it's 30 minutes, he performs within that 30 minutes, so that the next guy can also perform. So I think that the labeling of hijacking, I don't think works for me in this case. I think it was something that the organizer should have properly position him within a certain time to perform.
You talked about anticipation in the beginning. Is this something that show organizers should be worried about, putting Shatta Wale and Samini on the same show?
Well, they should really, because this show was hyped very strongly. The two of them were allowed to trade jabs at each other on social media to hype the show. So you would know that their fans would also come expecting that they will see this happening. So as much as possible, I mean, we need to put in place some of these measures as event organizers when we see these things going to happen. If we had done that, I think that some of these things that happen would have been forestalled. If the organizers had done that, some of these things would have. But I think the artists themselves should come to the realization that they're performing to a certain audience in a certain time. And so they need to be a bit more mature in how they handle some of these things. But above all, the organizer, I would place it that
they should take the blame
for the organizer for whatever happens on their show.
Right. Francis Doku, General Manager, MG Digital, under the MG Group, and I interviewed him as Entertainment Critic, or show.